So we're going to switch gears now and start to find the volume of solids instead of the surface area. So the volume of a solid refers to the inside of it, whereas the surface area refers to the outside of it. Recall that a prism is named based on the shape of its base. A prism can be identified by the fact that it will always have two congruent bases. Here are some examples of some prisms that we've looked at. The formula for the volume of a prism is base times height. And this formula we will use many times, and the only difference is that the base will change. So notice here are two examples. The first one is the base is a rectangle, which is length times width. And the second one is a triangle as a base, which is 1/2 base times height. We're going to look at other examples where the base might be a circle or other shapes. So one big difference when we're finding the volume is that the base might change. So let's look at some examples. So as mentioned before, when we're finding the volume, our first goal is to identify the base. Once we've identified the base, and in this case, it's a square, we want to substitute that in for the base. So we have that as our length times width, and now we just want to plug in our numbers. So we have our length as 4, our width as 4, and our height as 4. So 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. But we're not done because we need to add in our units. So we have 64 feet cubed, or 64 feet to the third power. In our second example, we're now looking for a base, but now it's a triangle. So now we need to substitute in 1/2 base times height as our base. So you need to be careful. So we're plugging in 5 and 12. And when you do that, we're multiplying 1/2 times 5 times 12. And then our height is 9. And then when you multiply all of those numbers together, you get 270. And then we need to add in our unit, and we get 270 feet cubed, or 270 feet to the third power. In our last example, we're also looking at a prism that has a base that's a triangle, so a triangular prism. So we've identified our base. So we're changing our base. So we're plugging in that as our formula, the formula for a triangle. And then we're substituting in the measurements that we know. So the 4 and the 6. And the height of our solid is 5. And then we're multiplying those values together, and we get 60. And then we add in our units, so we get 60 feet cubed as our final answer.